Okay, so guys, Coding Stickman here. Okay, today we're gonna start off a new project, which is gonna be a 3D tunnel. And then let's go ahead and name this pen. We're gonna use pen for this. And to use pen, there is no pen at the left toolbar sort of thing, right? So what you could do is go to the left bottom corner, click that, get the pen extension, and then you get access to the pen. Okay, we can start off by creating a block, and we can name it Draw Tunnel. And let's click that run without screen refresh because we want the tunnel to draw instantly. We will reset our frame when we do that, and then we don't want it to draw right away, so let's pen up. And then we need to get a variable. For this project, I'm going to make every single variable for this sprite only. So you know what? We don't have to use the underscore, and I'm just gonna click that for this sprite only. You don't need a single for all sprites variable for this. And then you know what? We can just delete the second sprite. You could redraw something if you want, but you really don't have to. You could just leave it blank also. You don't have to delete it too. Like, yeah, it's that. Okay, to set radius to, let's get a plus. And then we need to get a modulus. And then let's go to variables, get a variable. We can make it dot radius. This is the radius of the center starting dot, which is very important. Let's put that there. And then we need a tunnel index, which is also a very important piece. So let's put that there. And then we need a thickness variable for each row to get thicker as it goes on, because it'll get closer to us, so it gets that 3D feeling. And if it's closer, it should look bigger. So let's make that thickness bigger. And then we will set our index. We had our tunnel index, but we also need just index. So we will create that and then make that there. Now here comes the actual rendering part. Let's repeat. We could render circle at x, and then y, radius of a radius. And then we can click that and run without screen refresh, because obviously that's going to help us. We could drag that in there, and then we could get num of rings. It's going to determine the number of rings we're going to draw in the map. So let's drag that in there, and then we need to actually let's actually test it first, which is 0, 0, and then let's get radius of 100. If we go right now, it's not going to work because we don't have the render circle at. Let's go ahead and change a few things first. Let's change radius by our thickness, which is right over here. And then let's change our index by 1, which probably it's not going to be used right now. But we're going to have to use it later on, so get hold on to that. Yeah, we're going to use it really, really soon. Okay, here comes the main rendering part. Okay, so we need number of sides, which is very, very useful because it's number of a line in that tunnel circle. We will actually set the number of sides to 100 for now. More you do, more circle it's gonna look like. Less you do, more like squarish, blocky-ish it's gonna look like. Yeah. Okay, we need change an angle. Change an angle. So we could draw the circle. And then we need the actual angle. Pretty cool, pretty nice. Let's hide both of the variables. And then we go to the operators, get a divided by. So 360 divided by number of sides. That is the and then we can set that to change an angle. We're gonna change it that much. So basically circle, okay, this actually has a better example. Circle is 160 degrees, just like so. And then if it's 160 degrees, there's like a bunch of sides, right? We could divide it by that amount. That'll give us one change in angle, which might make sense, which might not, but that's how it works. So yeah. Okay, now let's set our angle to 0. So what's gonna happen is we basically have this. Okay, that's angle 0, right? Approximately here. And then we're gonna start rendering like so. Now we're gonna have a perfect circle after that rendering, which is pretty cool. So now that we've set the basic variables, now what we have to do is go to motion, get a go to, and then let's get an addition and another addition for the y. And let's drag that x and y in the first column of both of that. And then let's get a multiplication for both of that. And then we could drag in radius for both the front of the thing. And then we can go to the operators, the bottom one, which is the massive function one. Let's get a cos, which is cosine, and then sine for sine. And then we could go to variables, get angle for both of that. Now it'll have the basic starting position with all the variables set. So let's start drawing. To do that, we have to pen down, because remember we have penned up in the draw tunnel call. Okay, let's go to control, get a repeat loop to start drawing it. We need number of sides because we have to do it that much. And then we could change our angle by the change in angle. And then we could go to, you know what, let's just duplicate that, get rid of all of that, and then we can put that there. And then that's going to do it because we already changed the angle. Now we could do pen up because we don't want to draw anymore. And then that should be it for now. If we click draw tunnel, it's not going to happen. And okay, let's give a dot there. If we try now, it still doesn't work. That is because we haven't set the number of rings. Let's try that as 100. There you go. We have one ring. I mean, yeah. It's because all of that is at the same exact position. Hundreds and hundreds, just 100. You know what I mean. 100 circle is rendered on each other. So let's try to balance that now. And then for that, we need a center X list to contain the center X position of the circle and the center Y position of the circle, right? And then now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go right here with the circle rendering thing, right? And then now we're gonna start drawing. So let's get item, index, oops. So let's get that index of center X and the center, which I'm going to rename it right now to center Y. Cool. And then for the radius though, what I'm going to do is go to operators, get a plus, and let's do radius plus the, go to operators, get a divide, and let's divide that by 2 actually, and then we need a new variable which we're going to name it distance. And let's select that for display only. Pretty cool. And then what we can now do is we have to create the things, right? So let's make a block, name it set var, that'll stand for variable, and then lists. And then select that run without screen refresh, click that OK button, and then we can start setting our things. So let's set our dot radius, there you go, to 0, and then let's set our actual thickness, which is not that useful right now. Let's set that to 20, and then let's set change in color which that isn't made right now. There you go. For this sprite only, click OK, and then let's select that, change in color, and then for now we can select that 8. And then we could set the brightness. There you go. That's for the depth of the tunnel. We could set the brightness to 0. And then we could set color count. This is going to help you to do the thing, okay? There you go. And then we need the base color, so we can let's make it so we can control that too. For this sprite only, and then that's gonna do it. So let's set the base color to 0 for now. And then we need the color count too, so let's set our color count to 8 again. And then to reset the lists, let's delete center X and delete center Y. And then we could repeat the number of the ring sides, I mean the number of rings. It's a little bit confusing when there's like this much variable. And then we could add 0 and 0 to center X and Y. Pretty cool, pretty nice, and that should be good for now. And then let's try to get event when green flag is clicked. Well, obviously we want to hide first, and then pens, they have this thing when if they touch the edge, they're not going to go any farther, which is pretty annoying. So let's set the size to a massive size so that wouldn't bother us. 2000 would be nice, even though it wouldn't go that big. So, yeah. Oh my god, it actually does. That's actually better than I thought. Maybe my actual, like, the sprite is small enough. Let's set the var in the list. And then we're actually gonna set the content, which is sort of like the pen setting, but not really, because there's gonna be a block that is a pen setting. This is more of a different thing. Yeah. But for this, we need to get the distance. Remember that we have made the distance variable. To use that, we have to know the distance, which in this case, we're going to use this thing. So x1, y, y1, and then and x, like that, x2, y, y2. Round without screen refresh would be nice, because you know why. Yeah. Let's get the distance between -240 and 180, and then 240 and -180. We could do that, and then we could touch that later. We have done this in the Battle Royale series for the get distance. Check it out if you haven't checked it out. It's like one of my most popular series. That's all the description I'm gonna say for now, because we gotta hurry. Let's go to operators, get a divided by. Let's divide it by our thickness. Okay, this will auto-calculate how many rings we need to fill up the entire screen. Because we don't want to have like billions and billions of rings just outside the screens, just lowering the frames per second. Not good. So we want the exact amount, which is somewhere around a 30 if you're gonna follow this method, but who knows, you might make it different. So yeah, let me show you how to do this. That's it. Yeah. Now let's set change in brightness. I mean, yeah. So let's get that change in brightness for this sprite only. And then we can set that, okay, it's already here. Change in brightness to, we could get rid of that, make that brightness, and then make this num of rings. And then we could put input 150. And then that is the set content. Now we could use the set content under the set var/list, and then we could set the tunnel index actually, which is right here to 0 at the set var. Let's put it at the top because that is very, very important. And then what we could do is go to control, get a forever loop, and then we could start drawing the tunnel. And then we could change the tunnel index by 2. Pretty cool. And then that's actually it for the when green flag is clicked. Now if you click, nothing's gonna happen because we have some problems. Okay, first let's solve. Let's take our first step by actually coding this in. Let's set our distance to the square root. This is the triangle method, which I'm pretty sure I explained in the Battle Royale series, so go check it out if you don't know how this works, or if you're curious about the series. And we could get a multiply and another multiply and a subtraction for every single one of them. So like that. And then we could input x1 here and oops, I accidentally got the y2, but you could drag that here. You could drag that there. Y1 and y1. And then x2, x2, oops. And then x1. Pretty cool, pretty nice. That is it. Now if we run, it's still not going to work because we only touch one thing. Now we got to go back to the draw tunnel because yeah, we have to change something in that, and I can't locate it. Oh, it's here. Let's drag it into a little bit more empty spot. And then now here, what I'm gonna do is actually set that index to 1. And then let's get the distance. Oops. Yeah, now you see it sort of working, right? Yeah. But that's not what we want, right? That is not what we want. So let's get center X and center Y. That's pretty good. And then let's set the center X and let's set the center Y again. But this time you're gonna have to need a +1. If you noticed Y, it's good for you. Okay, so basically how this works is, look, we are changing it by 2. Then like, yeah, okay. This is, yeah. If you, that's tunnel index. And that's index if you don't get it, okay? Don't be confused, okay? Yeah, if you don't know how that works, yeah, it is a little confusing, so it's okay. Let's click my block, make a block. Let's set pen, right? And then let's click that run without screen refresh because we like run without screen refresh. Let's drag that under there. Let's drag that between that. And then let's go ahead and set the pen. Okay, now if you don't know what these like pen stuff do, I can actually talk about that right now. Even though if you're more curious about it, I think I explained it a little bit more detailed, but I'm not pretty sure, and I don't think that's the case. Anyways, just go check the video out. It's the everything about Scratch in a single video. Let's go to operate. Now let's continue with this. Yeah, let's go to operators. Go to get an addition and put it there, and then let's go to variables, get a thickness plus the distance, and let's set the pen color to let's go to the operators, get a addition. Let's start off from our color base because that's the use of it, the base color, and then let's get a multiply, and then we can multiply by change in color. That makes sense, right? I hope it does. Now let's get a modulus, put it in there, and then now we need the color count. This will determine how many different colors your tunnel has. And then let's get a subtract, which is gonna be with the index at the second spot. Go to operators, get the floor function, which is right there. And then we could divide the tunnel index by the thickness. So the thickness and the tunnel index. That's gonna be the pen color. Pretty cool, pretty nice. Now we can just duplicate that, set that to the brightness. Now we have to change this to the brightness, and then the equation is very different, so we could get rid of all of that. Now we need a multiplication, and then we will get the change in brightness, and then we could get a addition, and then let's get the index variable. Now what you need is a division block. We could divide it by the thickness, and then we can get a modulus. Oops, get the modulus. And then let's get another thickness, put it in the second spot, tunnel index at the first spot. Now it should be working pretty nice. I think that's all I'm gonna do for now. The video is getting a little long. Next episode, we can make it the center point to follow the mouse, which is gonna be very cool, by the way. And then, yeah, you see that flashing? Let's just quickly fix that in the end the episode. Okay, go to bitmap, and then just fill the background black. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to do the exact same thing I do every day. So if you enjoyed the video, please hit that subscribe button and the like button. If you didn't, do the same thing. If you don't get what I mean, just hit that subscribe button and the like button. And then, yeah, peace.